Moses Adams, and I didn't write any type of script for this, or kind of like I'm here in a bonnet, so I don't have a mic. I'm here in Miami, Florida, but I'm about to just like kind of wing this and go off what I'm thinking. But today I'm doing the Q&A that you guys, my friends and teammates, set in questions on Instagram, so I'm gonna go over those and kind of answer them. So if you like this type of content, please consider subscribing, liking, and turning on post notifications. I'd really appreciate it. First question was from CC Cramper, and she asked, what is your best race strategy when you're struggling in a short-term versus a long-term race? And in a short-term race, I kind of start to think like, okay, well, it's not that long, so I only need to do this for a little bit, like I'm almost done, and I kind of just drag myself to the finish line as I go. I focus on pumping my arms and kind of just getting the form right. I focus on like not like hypervent, like not getting to like my breathing, just just kind of trying to keep myself relaxed basically. And I'm not like an expert or anything like that, but this is just what I do to relax myself when I'm struggling in the race in short term, because it is intense, but if it's shorter, but I just think I'm almost done. Long term is kind of more like I still haven't really figured that out yet, but what I do is I kind of just try to think about like, okay, relax like I do in shorter term, but I kind of just focus on like same thing basically, except it's not I'm almost done, it's almost done. Like I'm thinking about the next portion, kind of like that's what I do in workouts, where I think about, okay, I'm this fourth done, I'm this, and that kind of helps me out to where I'm like, okay, well, if I'm at the 2 mile mark, I got one more mile till I'm done. I got one more, let me just stay strong for this, and 1 mile, one more this, one more rep, one more, and I just give it everything that I have. Next question is my boy Giuseppe, my Jersey boy. Shouts out him, that's my day one. But he asks, how can somebody grow as an athlete if they have reached the talent potential kind of cap? And my thing about this is just like, if there's a cap where you reach a certain point where you can't get any better, there's something probably that you're putting in your training or something that you're doing that needs to be changed. Because if you're just doing everything because your habits are shaping you, so you're only gonna be able to sustain what you're doing if you don't eat right, if you're not stretching. You're only going to be able to sustain like lacking and like kind of slacking off to a certain point, to where you need to make changes to be able to get better, because there's obvious things that like athletes on my level to get better can do to make themselves better, and sometimes they don't, and that's okay, and they just kind of have to take it one step at a time. But my best advice, change something in the way that you do things, how much sleep you get, how much stretching you do, what you're kind of putting in your body. Maybe for me, that's like, I need to be more mobile in my hips, I need more strength, more flexibility, basically. And yeah, so you need to change or something about what you do needs to change if you hit a point where they reach a talent cap. And I don't really believe in talent, I just think it's accumulated work, or just genetics basically. Giuseppe again asks, why do I create content? Like, why did I start creating content? I started creating content because I just had way too many thoughts in my head, and I had way too much. Let me pull some of this crib back. I had so many ideas and had no way to express them. I would write them down and just never do anything with them. And anybody that knows me knows I had a channel when I was younger, but I deleted it and it can't be found. And I always wanted to be a YouTuber growing up and just make content and create. I've always been a creator, from music to, I've always just been a creative. So, and what better way to kind of express my ideas and my feelings than kind of start creating content? And like that's just like, I'm happy with it. I don't look at it as work, I just kind of do it because that's what this is things that I was naturally doing and naturally expressing. I've always been the type to kind of motivate and lead from what I've been told. So just being able to put out content, even just like to have like later for people to look back on. I want somebody to one day just, I don't care if I get 35 subscribers or 30,000, this is gonna be here and somebody is going to stumble across all these documents and thoughts that I have. All right, on the storage, but basically just having the documents and thoughts put out is, and just being able to express myself is why I started making content. Masterant07 asked, when did I start running? I started running when I was, I think 2014, 2015. So I was about 5 or 6. I ran all throughout elementary school, 5th and 6th grade, and then they didn't have a program for me to be able to run. Like, so I didn't do track, I just did cross country. So I stopped 7th through 8th grade, and then I started again in 9th grade and 10th grade. So now I'm a rising junior, so I've been doing it for a long time, but I took a little break. Wilkins asked, did I do any sports before running? I did a lot of other sports before high school running, but this is the main one that I do now. Mainly before I was doing karate, swim, and then scouts if you count it. So it was a lot more extra, more like extracurriculars than sports, but I did a lot of other things. And then in 8th grade, just playing around, I did basketball, and I sucked at it at the start, but I kind of got a rhythm later, and then I moved here and I started playing. I started running track, so, and cross. Giuseppe again asks, how do I feel about how the self-help industry has kind of shaped the kids our age? And I feel like they've been extremely exploited by the people that kind of, when, for me, it was I think it was like 7th grade coming into COVID, where all this self-help stuff kind of blew up, and where people would kind of and that for me, I've always been a very motivated person, but that really kind of picked me up. The things that they would tell you to do with the cold showers and the isolating, going ghost for 6 months and everything like that, it works for a certain situation, but it would take somebody else's, that's somebody else's story, where you're going ghost for 6 months and everything like that. Not everybody's supposed to do that, where you cut off all your friends and everything like that, because for some people, it's not wrong, or it's not like a problem for them. Not everybody has the same problem. So I think a lot of the times they can give general and kind of one size fits all advice, and it applies to everybody's life differently. Some people it's gonna work very well and it's gonna pop off and they're gonna do very good, but for other people that it's not gonna work out so well, because the things that they tell you to do to sell you stuff is not very ethical the way that they do it. And I just think that it's toxic, but you kind of have to, my advice for that is you have to find your own path and journey and write your own story in that way and go on your own self-discovery. You do your own workouts. The things that you see about self-help on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube are only basically just cutouts of recycled advice that they get from first source, because when you're looking at these sources, you're getting second source basically information, and then second source is going through a filter. It's going through that person's mind into you and is interpreted in a different way. So basically you just have to read your own books, do your own research, and find your own path, and don't do everything that these people tell you to do. I think it's good as quick motivation, all right, get up off it, but for long term and okay, I follow these people, it's not very good in the long term. So I think that they definitely try and exploit, but just find your own way. Final question from Giuseppe. He asks, what is my favorite music artist? And I have a lot of different favorite music artists for different reasons, but I think vast majority of what I listen to is got caught up on the Juice WRLD wave, and I really people say he's corny now, but I think that his music has always been good. J. Cole, somebody who's real good. Kendrick, the lyricist. Nas, I really like 90s music with Tupac, Juice, all of them. So I like a vast kind of majority, because I also like alternative. I like girl, you know, sometimes pop, you know, like Guns N' Roses. Whatever I like, I listen to. It's not really like, oh, I have to listen to rap, or it has to be this, so you're not getting on aux. Like, you could play something unique for me, like Rex Orange County, you know, Tyler the Creator, that's a little bit in the middle, and I really like it. So vast majority, but I've always been a huge Juice WRLD fan. Next question, Sydney asks, a method to breathing for long runs. Long runs are kind of just like, it's not really something I think about too much. I feel like people put a lot of emphasis on breathing, when more of it is kind of just like where your mind is and your form. But to breathe, and like, what, I don't know what people tell you, but my friend up in Jersey, he said his track coach told him to breathe in through his nose, like, and out through his mouth, and I don't really agree with that. I think you should breathe in both through your mouth and your nose, like just get as much air in as possible. Like, and when people say it's not good to breathe through your mouth, I don't know the science behind that, but what works for me works for me. I might be doing it wrong, I never know, but you know, that's just how I feel about breathing. Like, I breathe in through as many holes in my body as I can, and then I just figure it out when I breathe. My boy Gio up in Discovery, he asked me, how do I stay disciplined with my runs? So being disciplined is literally about like, that's within you. That's like, okay, I'm a disciplined person, so I'm gonna go, like, after this I'm gonna go run, you know, like after this I'm gonna go treadmill, whatever like that. But you need to first, and I'm gonna get into this later, but I'm reading a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. You should really check it out and look into it for yourself and interpret it for yourself. Don't just take it from me, but what I read in it is that when you want to start a habit, because discipline is about habits, and when you want to start a habit, it starts from identity and goes out to the goals. You know what I mean? Like, because some people they want to be like, I want to be more disciplined with my runs. You want to start with, I am a disciplined person, and then go to, okay, so if I'm a disciplined person, it shouldn't take me this long to get up off my, you know, my butt and then go run. You know, with me, this is just how I feel. I developed the itch that if I don't run, it's gonna bother me. I can't sleep properly. Like, that shit is something that is so long to me that it's automatic and it regulates my body, you know. So if I'm not running, if it's not off season, if I didn't run a certain day, then I'm gonna know, I'm gonna feel it, and it's not a good feeling. So you need to develop that itch by building a habit every day of being like, okay, I need to go for a run today, and then make yourself kind of feel guilty about it if you don't. And at the end of the reward, like, you want to put a reward and be like, okay, well, if I go do this, then I'll get some candy or something like that. That would work for me, because I love candy. But like, and I don't need that now, but you need to be able to develop that, like, discipline and be a disciplined person, being like, okay, if I don't run today, I'm gonna crash out, basically. My intern OB asks, how do you dedicate yourself to something even when you're lacking in it? And I literally cannot tell you that you need to do this to do that with that. That's literally about it being within yourself and you kind of dedicating yourself to that and being like, okay, well, I want this so bad that I'm going to do what it takes, and anything past that to get to this point, right, and be this person. Okay, you have to identify with the fact that this is all you know. And to add to that point, even when you have a loss of momentum and you're lacking in it, you have to be able to kind of pick yourself out of that situation and be like, okay, just because I haven't done this or I haven't ran for X amount of days doesn't mean I can't start today, and then like it'll compound later. You know what I mean? Because if you run today, it's not going to make a difference. If you run in a week, it's not going to make a difference. You need to get to that point of where it's going to make significant change in yourself, because that starts with the root and being like, okay, am I dedicated to this? Am I a dedicated person? Am I going to do everything that I have to do to get to where I need to go? Shay asks, what's my favorite distance for a race? 800 meters. Ulsmick, who is a great artist, by the way, on Instagram, check out his art. He asks, who inspired me to kind of succeed in cross country and track? And for me, that was kind of just something that I instilled in myself and something that I wanted when my parents put me in it. People who inspire me now are kind of just people like Jakob, the best of the best, the best distance runner. You got Kipchoge, get some, runners like that, marathon runners, and you also have people just locally, and even just the people around me inspire me to be great. And there's a lot of others that I haven't listed. It's literally just everybody around me and the wants that I had for myself and that I knew that I could achieve too. Because even in the people that I'm naming, I'm not at the level of, but that maybe I could one day be there, So those are some people that kind of inspired me to be great, Jabra says, I know I definitely shouldn't be talking, but when's the album dropping? Why would I drop an album when they haven't heard the stuff that's already released? Go check out the music. We'll leave it in the description. Chase Y2, who has some lovely content on YouTube, you should go check her out. Link will be in the description, by the way. But she definitely, what she asks what motivates me, and that the answer to that is literally just in my identity, what being a motivated person and being disciplined and all the factors that come to keeping me motivated. But because I don't really believe in motivation, because it comes and goes, and because to tell you the truth, I don't really feel motivated to do what I do all the time, but I know that I have to do it for myself. I wouldn't say motivated because I don't want to do it all the time, but what keeps me disciplined is my identity and who I am and who I know I am. Janice, who is a wonderful athlete, on my team asks, why do I run competitively XC track and field? 2 reasons. I have multiple reasons, but some of the ones that come to mind is it's fun at a point when I'm done. I love to compete. I'm very competitive. For a while I wasn't good at losing, but when you learn how to lose, you can learn how to win. So I definitely, it teaches me, it keeps me humble, and I think definitely it's just fun. I love it. That's what I like to do, competitive, and even just to race, most of the time I don't even race against the people around me, but I'm racing against myself to see if I can go faster than I've ever gone before. So yeah, so that was all for the Q&A and this day of self-mastery. If you like this type of content, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Leave a comment if you enjoy, and consider following my social medias, Instagram, TikTok. Follow me on Strava, whatever you want to do. Yeah, this is Moses Adams. What is it, day 32?